Hello and welcome into the Love Yourself Spiritual channel. My name is Peggy. Today will be another one of our major arcana reads where we learn a little bit more about the spiritual energies that are being offered to us through the major arcana deck. And I wanted to start by saying the last time when I selected the cards, I selected 0, 1, and 3, which was the Empress. Number 3 is the Empress. So instead of doing 2, which was the High Priestess, I did 3, which is the Empress. So I'm actually going to explain the process and maybe the lesson behind that for myself, and then maybe it's something that you need called out on as well, because the universe definitely called me out on it when I had a conversation with the divine about it. When I realized that I had done it when I was editing the video, my first thought was, oh, I need to scrap that. I just need to redo it. I did it wrong. You know, I wanted to do 0, 1, and 2. And the Divine Spirit said to me, there are no mistakes. And in that moment, I realized that it was my pride that wanted to do it differently. And I said, okay, so what is the lesson in that? And what was given to me was just that I wasn't okay with making a mistake, that I wasn't okay just showing up authentically myself, which is something that I'm really trying to do, because as we are authentic, we align more fully with the Divine Spirit that is within us, moving through us. And so I just chose to leave that. And if you recognize that that was a mistake that I made, I'm okay with it. And I think it's really difficult for us as humans, especially if we were people pleasers and we felt that in order to be seen, we needed to be perfect. I know that's how I navigated through the first part of my life, was being as good as I could so that I could receive love. And so I'm trying to reparent myself to understand that my imperfections are okay, and that they do give permission to others to not be perfect as well. And that as I embrace them and become more authentic, because mistakes are human, then it gives everyone around me also the opportunity to be authentic as well. And I think that that's really important. And so that lesson in that, for me, I hope that that's something that resonates and possibly helps you in your life. So I did alter a little bit the reading that I'm going to do today, which I think could be really fun. And as we're coming up on the new year, I think that relationships, goal setting and relationships are two of the things that we really think about a lot, especially with family and around the holidays and stuff, and spending time with people we don't get to spend time with as much. But so I'm gonna go ahead and bring the Empress into this reading, because the Emperor and the Empress then will both be in it. And I've selected a deck that is yin and yang energies, male and female. And so we're going to read each of them individually. And then, of course, I'm going to include the High Priestess, since we didn't include her. And so we're going to do those 3 things. And I'm just going to pause momentarily and shift the camera so that you can see the table and the cards, and then we'll get started. Okay, I'm back, and I've selected and cleaned the decks, and I have set out our High Priestess, number 2, in the Major Arcana cards. Number 3, we're going to do her again, because I have kind of a fun thing to do. The Empress. And number 4, the Emperor. Okay, so first I'm just going to go over the energies of each one of them, and then we'll do a downline. And I have picked some interesting cards for us to work with on the downlines, a specific set of cards for each one. And we'll just start here with the High Priestess. And the High Priestess is the seat of your intuition. She is the one who intuitively knows what would be right to do in a situation in order to bring any situation back into balance. Whether that balance has to be just between you and you, the yin and yang energies that are between you, or if that balance actually is between yourself and someone else, which everything has to start with the self. So always know that if you're trying to balance a situation that's out of balance between you and someone else, it's coming in response to an imbalance that's within you, within your energies. And so trying to work with the energies that are within you first will serve you much better. And those insights that need balanced, they're going to come through the energy of the High Priestess. They're going to come through your intuitive knowing within you. So, and that sometimes that's going to require some introspection, some meditation, some going within in order to find that. And then once you balance that energy within you, then you can then move that energy outside of you and towards the other person. And you will find as you do that process, that your relationships come into balance much more easily with a lot less argument and strain. And so we're going to start with the High Priestess today, and I have a deck. I would have to look up the name of it for you because it's one that I use pretty often myself, and so I don't keep it in its box. But I picked a deck, and I'm going to do a 3-card downline with the bottom of the deck as a supporting energy, and then we'll do a I picked Cosmic Belief, or Cosmic Insight, Oracle for the High Priestess, because she is our cosmic insight. And we're just going to set out a downline, we'll read it, and then I'll move on and we'll do the Empress next. And then the Emperor. Spirit, what would you want to give us on the Empress? Last shuffle. What would you have for us on the Empress, Spirit? He's got it lined up. That was a perfect shuffle. Okay. Move those out of the way. All right. Are we upside down? We are not upside down. Okay. I know they were upright when I put them away. I'm kind of OCD about that. But we have in the line of mental energy, we have the 8 of Wands. In the heart space, we have the Knight of Cups. And in, my goodness, what does that say? Oh, the Fool. That's funny. In the spiritual energy, because I read them as mental, emotional, and spiritual energy in my 3-card downlines. In the spiritual energy, we have the Fool, which I did the Fool in the last video for the Major Arcana. So you can go back and look that one up for some in-depth information. And then at the bottom of the deck is Judgment. Beautiful, Spirit. And the Empress. And the Lovers. And the 10 of Pentacles. Oh, that's quite lovely. Quite lovely energy at the bottom of this deck. I'm not going to take them all. But those are all lovely energies and a lot of Major Arcana. But we have Judgment. And so I'm going to read the Judgment card first. In light of the High Priestess and her offering of what would be best to do in a situation, and then starting with the self and intuitively working with the energies that are within you first. Judgment is the energy that the universe offers us to make clear and concise judgments. And we have an analytical mind for a reason. The analytical mind, which some people would also call the ego, it's one of its most beautiful purposes is to logically disconnect and see from a broader view both sides of a situation. And that's beautiful. And then the other side of what you have to take into consideration with the judgment is, how do I feel? What is in my heart space about this? And is pride blocking or resisting that information from coming up? And then bringing those energies up and working with them, and then allowing the High Priestess to work through those energies by surrendering, by saying to the divine, I surrender this relationship between myself and I to you. Please send insight and help me through this. And as you surrender, that will absolutely happen. And I think that is kind of what the Eight of Wands card is indicating. The Eight of Wands is for me, in the 3D of the cards, the fastest moving energy, and it brings messages with us. So very possibly in this downline, it's saying you might be someone, if you're watching this, you might be someone who tends to rush in with a message or rush the communication without really pausing long enough to check the energies within you and get aligned on what actually is for the highest good. And what's for the highest good for you is actually for the highest good of everyone. Because if you've gone in and intuitively worked through those processes that I just explained, then you will be in alignment with what's best for you and what's best for them. What's best for you will always be what's best for them if you are coming from a place of the highest reach that you can make on your inner self, your higher self. If you've gone to the highest place within your higher self, then you already have the information of what's best for the situation. And then after you've rested on it and you've waited, then go forward with the message that you have for the situation. Go forward with, bring that message to yourself, and then go forward with that message to the person. And that's what the emotional energy in this downline is saying. And the Knight of Cups is the Knight with a full heart, who is sent to do, because Knights move our energy outside of us. And the best way to heal any situation is to come from the heart. And in a heartfelt way, even if it's going to be a difficult conversation, it will be best received if there is love in it. Even if it's you breaking up a relationship, pausing a relationship, stopping a relationship that's not healthy, coming from a heartfelt place. And what that could potentially look like would be, I'm doing some inner work. This is my pattern. This is how I show up in this relationship. And this is why it isn't serving me. And it's also not serving you either. And we're in this struggle. And then define whatever that struggle is and give a few examples, not accusatory examples, examples of how I show up. And then you respond. And that it's unhealthy. And as you, in a loving way, are able to do that, it brings the potential to transmute that situation, even just in that conversation. Now, you will have to back that up by not continuing those patterns that created that toxic, whatever, if it's toxic. And then the last card down, the spiritual energy to bring to the situation, is the Fool. And the Fool is the master manifester, because the Fool, it's your youthful energy. It's the energy of starting out a journey. It's a new beginning. It often indicates in a downline that there needs to be a new beginning, and that new beginning is going to have to come from a very trusting place. Because in the traditional decks, the Fool is stepping off of a cliff, but he trusts that as he takes that step, that the divine is going to be there to support him. He's not afraid. He's not worried. He knows that he is supported. And so when you become clear about your part of the situation and the entire situation, and even if it's only a situation with you and you, that's okay. Then knowing that you can and that you are supported, change yourself and then the situation, and trust that the divine is there to support you in that. And I think we'll do oracles at the end. I'm going to move these over a little bit. Okay. The Empress. And we talked a little bit about the Empress in the last video, but I'm going to go over her again. And I'm going to show you the decks that I'm using. It's Luna's, light and dark decks. And so light and dark energies, a lot of times we'll call yin and yang, light and dark, masculine and feminine, and they are different energies. I even refer to them as the ego and the heart space, because that is where they have their seat, where the logical mind sends out your thoughts and processes your thoughts. And the heart is a receptive energy. It's drawing back to you. And that is kind of the difference between masculine and feminine energies. So I selected this deck because the Empress is the divine feminine. She's the divine female energy. And she is the culmination of the 3D queens. She is the embodiment of all of those receptive energies. And those energies are air, or swords. And the Queen of Swords is the one who says, give me all of the information. I need to make a decision, and I need the facts. Give me the facts. And she's a little bit disconnected from her heart space. And I think that's how we respond a lot of times to situations. At least that's how I do. You may show up a little differently, but I do have a lot of air in my chart. So for me, that's very natural. And then the wands are fire energy. Also a way that I show up because I'm a Sag. And the fire energies are about passion. They're about going forward. They're about, making changes, doing it, going. And the Queen of Wands is the most independent female. She is the one who knows herself and knows her worth and will passionately stand up for it. And then the Queen of Pentacles, or the Earth's energy in the Queens, she's the master builder. She's the one that not only very clearly knows what her worth is, she is the one who's going to rebuild something that's broken. She's the queen that lays the foundations. If you're going to build anything, this is who you take. And it's not a fast-moving energy. It's methodical. It's A to B, B to C, C to D. We do it this way because this is the tried and true way to do it. And then the Queen of Cups, or the water element. The Queen of Cups is probably, in my opinion, for the divine feminine, the most naturally feminine, because it is the receptive, loving heart space energy. And she has a full heart, and it's soft and squishy. But she's a queen. She's not giving that away. She doesn't throw her pearls in front of the swine. She wants equal reciprocation. That's what she's expecting, and that's what this guy's taking. He's taking love forward, but he's expecting equal reciprocation because that's right, and that's just. That Judgment card is about setting it up in a just way. So I honestly think that the Queen of Cups is probably the most necessary energy that the Empress embodies. So we're going to do a 3-card downline and a supporting from the bottom of the deck on this. Show us the Empress. These cards, I love these cards, but they're a little bit ornery. They're not the easiest. They're very thick, and they're not the easiest to shuffle, so bear with me. That's better. Last shuffle for the Empress. What would you give us for the Empress? These also are kind of anime inspired cards. Justice, Queen of Swords, Eight of Cups. Yeah, beautiful. Ten of Pentacles. Ten of Pentacles, King of Cups. What else we got here? Four Swords. Okay. I always look at the other cards at the bottom of the deck to see what is possibly supporting further out. And we're not going to take them, but so the Ten of Pentacles is what is supporting the Empress. And the Ten of Pentacles is, in the 3D, it's the fulfillment of the Pentacles, which is Earth energy, which is value. It's a fulfillment of value. And what, in a supporting position for the Empress, is just saying you are fully supported. You embody all of the things that you need to be worthy. You are worthy. And that's the supporting energy is energy that, for me, is being offered from the universe to confirm something. And so it's confirming that you are the embodiment of all the queens, and your value is not in question. So don't question your own value. And the first card in the downline for the mental energy of what they would like you to use is also a major arcana card, Justice. And Justice is about possibly things having been out of balance, and in your mind you know that they are. And so be aware that if you agree to things continuing out of balance, that's not going to serve, and it's not going to fix the relationship. If you're an overgiver and the other person is an undergiver, say it's a relationship with someone else, and it can't even be within yourself. If you don't give to yourself as much as you give to others, and there's an injustice and an imbalance there, you'll have to start with yourself, because no one can give you what you're not willing to give to yourself. And overgivers generally feel like they have to give in order to be loved. And that is actually not true. And it leaves them feeling abandoned and wrung out, so to speak, energetically, and isn't serving. And so Justice, about seeing that first and beginning to reparent yourself a little bit and love yourself, you first, because no one can give you love you're not willing to give to yourself. That's a universal law. They can't do it, because you attract what you put out. And as you don't put love into yourself, you also don't attract it as well. So that's really important. And then the next card down is and this is in the emotional energies, is the Queen of Swords. I don't know if you can see her. There we go. And the Queen of Swords, hang on just a second. I apologize for that pause. A Joe Dispenza meditation had started playing in place of the just healing energy that had been playing, and I kept hearing a voice, and I was like, what is going on? So yes, I love Joe Dispenza, and if you have a chance to look him up or do any of his meditations, 1000% is definitely worth it. He's fabulous. I've learned an immense amount and appreciate his work very much. Anyway, this Queen of Swords energy, as we were talking about the queens a minute ago when we were further defining the Empress and her energy, the Queen of Swords is about, give me all the information. I need all of the information in order to make a judgment. And I will come to a clear judgment, and it will be fair. It's the most fair queen. By far the most fair. If you were going to set one up to rule and to balance relationships, you need all of the information. So it's definitely saying, get all the information, especially if you're an overgiver. And then the Eight of Cups in the spiritual energy. The Eight of Cups is, in some situations, I would say that the Eight of Cups is a need to walk away or a walking away. In this downline, I think what it's saying, because 8 is getting close to the end of a cycle, but not fulfillment. The 9 of Cups would be individual fulfillment, wish fulfillment, and the 10 would be fulfillment in love. And 8 is, I mean, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. And so maybe just don't rock the boat. And so if you're kind of in a space of, well, I'm not really going to stand up because I don't want to rock the boat, because it could be so much worse and I should just appreciate what I have. But you're not actually happy. And you came to be happy. Jesus said, I wish for you the fulfillment of life. And that means fulfillment. That means abundance of life. And you can't have abundance if you're going to settle for an 8 of Cups. 10 of Cups is fulfillment, and that's what you came to get. And the last 2 cups are the hardest to come by, because 9, you have to find yourself. You have to find yourself as an individual with the 9th cup. And the 10th cup is including everyone around you. It's about the foundation of love that you have around you and those precious people that you have with you. It's your soulmate connections. It's fulfillment with them. You can't get there if you won't give to yourself. And that happens at 9. And so if you're in a cycle of complacency in relationships, even though you're not happy, allow yourself to be called out. Get justice. Start with you. Everything starts with you. Okay, let's move on to masculine energy. And the Emperor. The Emperor is the culmination of all the kings. And the kings are where the buck stops. And so the Emperor in spiritual energy is where the buck stops. He puts his, when he shows up in a reading, it's him, it's the stamp of approval. It is, do this, you're supported, go forward. Because the kings are, you know, they're who goes to war. They don't stay home with the children. They go. And masculine energy is the energy that we take outside of ourselves. It's the energy that we go out to fix the world with. And to stand up for those less fortunate, including ourselves. If we're abandoning ourselves, we have to use that masculine energy in order to bring that back into balance. And so that, you know, the king of air, just like the queen, is about balancing correctly with logic situations and then taking and making decisive action. This is not a king who can't decide what he thinks or feels. He decides, and then he sticks to it. You can't, once he's made a decision, that's the decision, and he stands by it. And then the Pentacle energy, this is the king of the greatest value. He is abundant. He is the abundant king, and he is the master builder. And the Emperor is the master builder because he embodies that. And so when he shows up in a reading, there's support for you to do the building, to do the logical, to come to a logical conclusion. And then the Wands energy are probably the best competitor. And so when the Emperor comes to your support, you aren't going to lose. And he's going to bring and offer to you, through the energy of the King of Wands, the fire energy, that very passionate pride's coming out of that energy. And so, you know, he's not going to want to lose. And so he's going to bring a lot of passion. And so the Emperor provides a lot of buck stops here, passionate energy. And then the King of Cups, of course, is offering his heart. And it's an open heart. But it's also a strong heart. And it is not afraid to stand up for itself when things are out of balance. So let's go ahead and do the... and again, I kind of see the male energy as ego energy. And they do tend to be more logical, and that's natural. And within you, you are a balance of negative... I'm sorry, not negative. You are a balance of female and male energies, of the yin and the yang. And the more balanced you are, the more balanced the relationships around you will become. You don't want to be all receptive energy, and you don't want to be all outgoing energy. Because you won't become whole that way. You'll miss half the answers. So you don't want to do that. As someone who, as a single mother, and for most of my motherhood, and also an entrepreneur, business owner, I train horses, and a competitor, I can tell you from experience that to live most of your time in your masculine energy will put your life out of balance. It absolutely will. These are them. We're going to use these. Okay, bottom of the deck is a Page of Swords. A little bit of learning. Okay, see, the supporting energy, or the energy that the universe wants you to be aware of, is that possibly learn a little bit more about the logical aspect and what the universe is trying to offer to you. And pages are about messages, small messages. This Ten of Cups is kind of, are they? No, they're all in. Okay. I have it upside down. Ten of Cups. Wheel of Fortune. The Hermit upside down. Okay. So Ten of Cups, Wheel of Fortune, the Hermit. So going forward, especially if you've done this aspect of the work, and understanding that your value, like we talked about, is in this 10 of Cups. Take this 10 of Cups, because again, the Emperor is about taking action. He's about laying down the law. He's about assertively knowing your worth. And then the next card is the Wheel of Fortune, and this is about the seasons in life and the things that we are changing, need to change. And in this downline and in the emotional heart space, the Wheel of Fortune to me indicates that this cycle, when you're ready to go forward, you're ready to open this new cycle, and behind this new cycle, there's a lot of abundance, because I'm obviously reading this 10 as an abundance, a fulfillment in love. And so the Wheel of Fortune at the opening of a cycle is always going to offer you some good fortune. So that's beautiful. And we want to open cycles that serve us and close cycles that don't. And the Wheel of Fortune to me always reminds me that nothing in life stays the same, that we came to experience change, and changes are always occurring, and it's how we learn to work with the energies that is important. And then the last card out is a Hermit in reverse. Once you've done this work, because the Hermit is the one who has walked the path, who has wisdom and has experience. And he lights his path with his star, which is his individual wish. The star is what you reach for. It's your dreams and your hopes. But when the Hermit comes out, it's a call to healing and to rest, and basically to meditate. It's a spiritual energy, major arcana card. And I think that it's saying that once you've done this work, don't rest on it. Don't keep that information to yourself, what you've learned, your wisdom. It's time to take this wisdom out to those who need it. And you'll know who needs it, because they will come to you. And as you heal, and you move up in resonance, because as you heal, those energies are holding your vibration at a lower frequency than it could be. But as you heal and you let those energies out, you're going to move up into frequencies where you're going to resonate a little higher, and people are going to come to you who recognize, without knowing it, that your resonance is higher, and they're going to ask, but also probably without knowing it, for information or help, because whatever is happening in their life is on their mind. And as you have information that will, I don't know why that keeps happening, sorry. As you have more information, because you've walked the path, and when you walk the path, you gain wisdom, and then you can offer that wisdom, people are going to come to you for it. It's a beautiful thing, and that's why we're here. It's one of the biggest reasons we are here. Okay, let's get a couple oracles. This is a cosmic insight, and since our High Priestess is about cosmic insight, we're going to have that one. We're going to start with her and this deck. Give it time. Everything in divine timing. Let things flow. Okay, so there's no hurry. Take your time. Take your time. Start with you. Everything begins with you. Is there anything else, Spirit, about this one? I'll shuffle twice. Date night. No, this is specific for someone. Date night. Get ready to be wined and dined. And start with you. Wine and dine you first. Give some love to you before you take this out. But also, if you're showing up as this Knight of Cups to take this energy out, make it special. I mean, when you think about date night, wine and dine, think of the reasons that you would do it and come with that energy. Okay? Let's see. Since all healing pretty much starts with the heart, I picked the Healing Energy deck for the Empress. We're going to get to shuffle these. I am light. I always have hope, no matter the ordeal. I have faith in a better future. I turn darkness into light. I open my heart to others and to God, and am spiritually strong. I draw light to me, and I shine with all my being. Okay. I think that's great advice. And the light It's kind of the same thing as the resonance that I was talking about. When your resonance goes up, you offer more light to the world. Everything turns to light. I work to improve myself, embrace all that life brings to me, and transform darkness into light. I allow myself to grow and to become stronger. I can get it turned where you can actually see the words. Okay, and then I got shadow work cards for the ego or the male energy. Some people will call it shadow, but the things of the mind doesn't only rule the conscious mind, but also the subconscious mind lives there as well. And in our subconscious are shadows that our ego is hiding from us. So we do have to dig those out. We have to go after those, because the ego, in its effort to protect you from pain, will suppress things into the subconscious mind, but they still are there and always trying to be looked at. And so I picked shadow work cards for this one, because that's the aspect of the ego that we have to work with. Judgment. Judge less and understand more. Judge less, understand more. And we have both the judgment cards out here. Judgment and justice are both out here. Ego. Beyond the facade of ego lies the depth of true surrender. Arrogance, pride, vanity. So all three of those things almost kept me from doing the reading that I did today, because had I redone the original reading so that I wasn't embarrassed that I had selected 0, 1, and 3 rather than 0, 1, and 2, I would not have done this reading today. And it's possible that the Spirit wanted to do this reading with these 3 cards out for a reason, which I don't understand. And I don't need to understand. I don't need to. And I don't have to have so much pride that I can't say, hey, I made a mistake. I'm human. And so it doesn't matter, I don't think, or at least I haven't gotten to a place where for me it doesn't matter how far down the path I get to more spiritual understanding and awareness. Pride is something that lives within you. And in some situations, it's absolutely needed, because it says, no, you won't hurt me. You won't treat me that way. I will not allow myself to be treated that way. So in that respect, pride is necessary. In the respect of me having to redo an entire reading and possibly not have the opportunity to do this reading, that may not have served as well. So, yeah. It's okay to have pride. It's absolutely okay to have an ego. You need it. And the further down the path you get, the easier it is for you to see when it's actually trying to sabotage something. That could be beautiful. Okay, I hope that this helps you. If you are interested in a personal reading, spiritual counseling, there's a link to, or there's an email in the description box that you can follow for that. If you have a specific question or have a comment about anything that you'd like more information on, please put in the comments, and as I get to in spirit calls, I will try to do segments on those. I hope that you are enjoying your holiday season. Be blessed. Namaste.